Guys, I love my Unicender. I use it SRT for long access, but in the tree I need all the help I can get. I'd like to share with you my DdRT system with the Uni and show you some of the things it does for me. That'll probably make me the last old fart to give up on doubled rope. Here's my double rope Uni. You can see this thing is a giant shot out of the past. It's the old O-ring system, or the climbing in a loop system, except implemented with modern hardware. The Unicender and this little gem, the 1.1 inch OmniBlock Mini. What you don't see here is a tether, and you'll see later why that's very important to me. Let me explain some of the adjustments to you. Are you ready? Push. Pull. Push. Pretty simple adjustments. What's even more important is you can do those adjustments under full load. Here I'm hanging out in suspension and I can't reach the Uni. I want to get it back to me. So I just rotate the loop so I can grab the prusik and pull the Uni back to me. And the reason this is so easy is that I'm not lifting my weight. I'm just rotating the loop in two pretty good pulleys. I can do the same thing in reverse, just putting a little weight on the loop and then advancing the floater prusik and advancing the floater prusik, and now I have the Uni back in work position. Let's take a look at how this affects a limb walk. All right, so let's do a little simulated limb walk here. I'm going to pull the Uni back into work position, get down to my limb, and start to work out on the limb. I wrap the Uni and pay out as I go. If I want to stop along the way, I just flick it open, start again, stop, pay it open, and eventually I will get to the end of the limb and I want to come back. Now, I'm not sure you can tell from the video, but in this position I'm utterly dependent on the climbing line for my balance. If I threw slack into that line, I'd be off of this perch in a heartbeat. If I had a tether now and I wanted to come back in and put the Uni into climbing position, I probably wouldn't risk it. Some of you guys can do that. That's why you get paid the big bucks. I need something that's foolproof. And what I would likely to do is pull a bite under the Uni and start coming in, tending by hand with two hands. And that's less risky, but it costs me two hands, and I have very little purchase on the working end of my climbing line. I'd really much rather have the Uni out in the climbing position. And the way I do that is to just push. And I haven't thrown any slack into the line, and I'm still stable in my balance. If I want it back, I just pull it back. And if I want to push it out, I just push it out. And now when I come back one-handed. The Uni auto advances and self-tends. If I need a little more speed, I can go hand over hand. If I need the power to start climbing, I just pull with both arms. Let's go up to the tip. I want to show you something up there. Okay, we've got the Unicender in climbing position. We're going up to the tie-in point. And as we approach the tie-in point, we're going to pull the Uni back down into control position into work position, I should say, and take the last part of the advance in that condition. Now, you'll see I'm coming up on my U-saver here, and I'm just going to snug right up to the Pinto. Here's the Pinto in full choke mode, and now I'm here. All right, the thing to notice here is the incredibly small vertical distance you're losing to the equipment. The distance from the Uni to the top of my saddle ring is 5 inches, my goodness. And in that 5 inches is a full 360-degree swivel function. God bless Rock Thompson. The distance from my saddle ring to the top of my tie-in point is only 13 inches. So you're really giving up a tiny, tiny distance to the equipment. So any applications where you're working vertical inches, this is a great rig for that. If you're trying to inchworm up a spar or a featureless pole, vertical inches count, and the zero setback of the Unicender will be terrific, and you'll be able to do that with this rig very nicely. Let's descend just a little bit. I want to show you some other elements of the configuration. Come down a little more. Okay, now the other thing to notice here is that there's a knot and not a splice or a quick link or a carabiner. The impact on vertical distance is obvious. With the knot, you only give up an inch. With a carabiner and an eye splice and a taper, you might give up 8 or 10 or 12 inches. So the knot saves you that vertical distance. The other thing it does for you is the OmniBlock is designed as a prusik minder. So you avoid the possibility, when you're climbing, you get a nice solid stop when the prusik minder engages on the knot, and you run no risk of forcing a taper or a wedge or a splice between the plates of the pulley and misconfiguring the pulley. So that's another advantage of the knot. And then the third advantage is pure performance, and thanks to Richard Mumford for this. He's a walking encyclopedia on the Unicender, and one of his tips is to kick up the L bracket by tying to the Unicender off center. That kicks up the L bracket and makes for a very effective clean release on the Uni. Thanks, Richard, for that tip. If you put a beaner in here or a quick link, you would come right to the center of gravity, and your L bracket would flatten out, and the Uni wouldn't perform anywhere near as well. So let's go back down, and I have one more thing to tell you about safety. This is not a safety video, and I sure don't purport to tell you how to use your Unicender. But I think it's very important that you be able to recognize what operating mode you have the Unicender in. When you get the Unicender, Rock Exotica will teach you that there are two operating modes. The control mode, where the handles are wrapped with the climbing line, and the straight through mode, where the rope goes straight through and you squeeze the handles. they make no bones about it, and they use the word dangerous. They don't want you to use this expert mode. If you're inattentive in that mode and you drop your belay hand or the working end of your line, you'll come down like you were on a wrap ring or a figure eight, and it's a very dangerous situation. Experts only. Well, if you build this rig, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from saying, hey, here's something old fart didn't think of. Okay, you can pull a bite up from your saddle and come back to the Unicender. Let's put the Unicender in a sort of an intermediate position here. And you can pull a bite back up from the saddle and flip the bite over the Unicender and get pretty decent control over the Unicender from that bite without having to wrap and unwrap the Unicender. Okay, that is a very dangerous situation, because even though this looks like you've wrapped the Unicender, the device itself is in the straight through mode with a couple of points of supplemental friction behind it. If you drop the working end or have a mental lapse and let go of it, this is going to drop very, very quickly. And what makes it even more skull and crossbones is if you have the line, the weight of your climbing line, bearing down on the top plate of the Unicender, it will not grab for you. It'll go all the way to the bottom like that. So this is a very dangerous situation, and you need to enforce a safety protocol. Thank goodness it's very simple. No rope above the Unicender unless it comes from the Unicender. Okay, so no rope from your lanyards or back from the saddle, but if you take it from the Unicender, you're fine. I think it's a terrific system. I love the Unicender, and one of these days I'll figure out SRT, but in the meantime, this old fart's going to stay on this rig. Thanks for watching.